Right now, a high-stakes game is being played on the Ukrainian front, a game about whether peace or war will prevail. And let's be honest, if everyone believes that peace in Ukraine is just around the corner, they need to explain exactly what it will take to achieve it. I'm here to break down the complex interplay between international law, proxy warfare, and political strategy that's shaping this conflict. At its core, the current situation in Ukraine isn't just a conventional war. It's a proxy conflict where the United States is leveraging Ukraine against Russia. One of the main strategies is to force Russia to operate outside the rules of international law. In doing so, Russia is compelled to fight under the terms dictated by the power dynamics of major global forces. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Russia is engaging in its own secret diplomacy, keeping both its people and the international community in the dark about its true moves. On the other side is the US is continuously taking initiatives, whether it's through supplying critical weapons or advanced intelligence, to escalate the conflict in a way that puts them in a stronger negotiating position. These moves are designed not only to pressure Russia, but also to create the conditions for a future, more favorable dialogue. Currently, what we're witnessing on the battlefield is essentially a stalemate. Despite gaining territory and executing tactical operations, Russia is not in a position to unilaterally end the war on its own terms. Ending a conflict militarily requires forcing an enemy to surrender, and Russia simply lacks the necessary military means to do that on the scale needed. Here's the crux. The political regime in Ukraine is at the heart of the problem. Neither Europe nor the United States is genuinely interested in preserving every inch of Ukrainian territory. Instead, their focus is on maintaining the existing regime, a regime often categorized by neo-Nazi elements, which serves as a strategic bridgehead against Russia. This is why the US accepted an agreement framework similar to the Constantinople Accord of April 2022, as it allows for the continuity of the regime even if it means signing papers that exclude NATO involvement. So what will real progress look like? In order for Ukraine to move towards lasting peace, there needs to be genuine political solution. This will involve establishing a temporary transitional government that includes all political forces, both those currently in power and those that have been marginalized or even banned. The government will be responsible for holding free and fair elections focused on self-determination, allowing Ukrainians to decide whether they want to continue as they are, negotiate a special relationship with Russia, or pursue another path entirely. In essence, the discussion isn't just about territory. It's about applying international law to ensure the self-determination of both Ukrainians and Russians in the region. The West is reluctant to fully embrace this dialogue because it might jeopardize their strategic interest, especially as the current regime in Ukraine is being used as a tool against Russia. The situation isn't isolated. It echoes historical precedents, like the Polish situation post-World War II, where external powers use political frameworks to control outcomes. Today, Europe finds itself in a similar predicament, but without a unified approach. The disjointed responses from European nations only serve to reinforce American strategy maneuvering. Critics argue that some expected Trump to manage a peaceful resolution in Ukraine. However, his approach was never about securing peace by itself. It was about reorganizing the West's offensive to finally dismantle Russia's advantage. Instead, we now see proposals for a short-term ceasefire, which, while momentarily easing tensions, ultimately failed to address the deeper political issues at stake. In conclusion, the path to true peace in Ukraine lies not in superficial ceasefires or temporary signatures, but in a fundamental political reset. A transitional government that respects international law, the self-determination of people. Until such a framework is established, we are likely to see the conflict drag on, shaped by the strategic interest of powerful nations. Thank you for watching, and remember, understanding the game behind the headlines is key to envisioning a better future.